Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of RF Download. This week is, of course, it's RF Land 58. As you can see right behind me, there's tons of computers, and we have a full house. Yep, we have over 800 people in this event, and it's going to be insane. Anyway, this is your host Harry, and we'll be going through some of the news of this week. Mind you, though, I thought this was going to be a quiet week, but a lot of things has happened within the last couple of days, and the news that actually came out for Saturday, I just haven't got time to go through them. So we're going to have to wait for next weekend. So there you go. Anyway, let's roll the intro. Now, at the start of the week, the Radeon Vega Frontier Edition actually came out, and also some reviews also came out as well. And for some reason, people think it's actually a little bit disappointing. Now, the initial benchmarks for this card compared to the NVIDIA offerings, the 1080, the 1080 Ti, that the Vegas Frontier Edition actually performed a little bit slower. And, well, I think this is going to be a bit of a conundrum because this card is not a gaming card. Yeah, it's not a gaming card at all. There's no actual branding of the RX branding or anything like that, or any sort of sign that it's going to be a gaming card. I mean, you can buy this card now if you want. It's available at PLE for $18.99. That's just a really steep price for a GPU, but it's there if you want to. But supposedly, according to AMD, this is supposed to be like a workstation. Not really like a workstation card, not really like a gaming card, but sort of in between. This is sort of like your professional enthusiasts that sort of want to actually make content, more like your developers who wants to try to, mainly for games, in the gaming development. Of course, like some of the features that you wouldn't be able to use for, like, let's say, like your AutoCAD, but you actually do need some kind of like double position because this particular card doesn't have any sort of certified drivers, and you can use this card for gaming, but of course it is not optimized for that. Now, it's funny that I actually talk about this card because there's some leaks of the RX Vega, and some of the initial benchmarks actually shows that it's quite ahead of the GTX 1080. And I can see Tran just sort of walk behind me. Oh, what a cheeky bugger. Now, this particular card is going to have 8 gigabytes of HBM2, so still have tons of RAM. Now, according to the leaks, the AMD RX Vega card is actually going to be about 50% faster than the GTX 1080, although the GTX 1080 Ti is going to be faster, 20% faster than the RX Vega. Now, I'm not sure you're going to show because I can't really see that, but that's okay, I'll just keep on going. Oh god, you're the second person who started to photobomb that shit. I can't get away from these guys, jeez. But we don't know what's going to be the final pricing or the final specifications or how well it's going to be when it comes out. At the moment, pricing is yet to be unconfirmed. But according to these leaks, it is a little bit promising. So, I might be jumping to the red boat. Yes, go red. I like red. Now, this next bit of news is going to suck because it is going to help with some of the shortages that we are going to have. At the moment, we got a graphics card shortage thanks to the Ethereum mining. Thank you, miners. I believe that there is a DRAM or NAND shortage for this memory. So, of course, SSDs and memories have been a little bit more pricey. But, yeah, about that DRAM. At the start of June, there was a contamination at one of the Micron's DRAM facilities. Supposedly, it was a malfunctioning in the nitro gas dispensing system. It has been rectifying this problem as soon as possible, but first reports that this facility produces about 5.5% of the overall production of DRAM this month in July. Now, at the start of the quarter, at the start of this quarter, 2017, there was a 30% increase of your price from your DIMM memory, so like DDR4, DDR3, or whatever. And this sort of shortage is going to bring. They reckon that it's going to increase the your prices up about 10%. So it's not good. Now, the chip shortage was first warned during in late 2016 or early 2017 this year, and they reckon it's going to last until about early 2018. And okay, this is getting ridiculous. Remind me not to do another RF download during RF LAN. I am getting trolled so hard, it's not even funny. Now, what it's going to mean for like your typical PC builder? Well, it's going to be pricey. It's difficult to get your hands on a GTX 1060 as of right now. Even like your 1070s, 1080s, 1050 Ti's, 1050s, and you can forget about the AMD graphics cards, because I believe AMD has actually stopped production. I may be wrong about that, so punch me if I'm wrong. But it's very difficult to get a graphics card at the moment, and thanks to this contamination, yeah, it's memory chip prices are going to increase. So, yay for higher prices. Now, we had a similar thing like this, not to a big extent, but it was pretty significant. Back in 2011, there was a flooding in Thailand, and most of your hard drive production was made in Thailand, and yeah, it brought hard drive prices up, like, badly. There was limits to getting hard drives. I remember there was a limit of getting like one per person, and some of the companies had to do like really dodgy ways to try to get more and more hard drives. It was pretty terrible, and I don't think hard drives has ever got back down ever since then. And this is about 6 years ago. So yeah, I don't want to see like high prices for building PCs, because for your everyday gamer, it's going to be pretty bad. But I guess we just gotta wait and see, and hopefully it won't be a big bump as I initially thought. Now for those who are running on an old NVIDIA GeForce 400 series or 500 series card, well, NVIDIA's got a little nice surprise for you. Now, according to WCCF Tech, NVIDIA has actually enabled DirectX 12 on those 400 series and 500 series cards. Yeah, I mean you can play those cards like on a DirectX 12 or games or benchmarks, but don't expect great performance at all. Now, according to one of the articles, one of the writers actually did bench tests of his old GTX 580 on the TimeSpy benchmarks, the 3D Mark benchmarks, and he scored a very, very low 760 points. Yeah, I quickly dug some old reviews, some old graphics card reviews. One of which was had like a GTX 960, and that card actually destroys it. Like, it absolutely dominated, and that it achieved about 2,666 points. Yeah, it's pretty damn high. So what this means for your 400 and 500 series cards, will it be able to increase the lifespan of those cards? Maybe not so much. You have to remember, like, these sort of cards, they're all based on the firmware architecture, where they were infamously known to run very, very hot, and also chew up a lot of power. Yeah, those were some hot days from NVIDIA. Now, last bit of news for this week, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this already by the time this video comes out, but Blizzard has finally released a new character for Overwatch. Yes, that's what everyone expected. Doomfist. But you know what? He's not being voiced by Terry Crews. Okay, no worries. But despite that little bit of info, Doomfist is going to be like a very aggressive melee character. One of his passive abilities is that he actually generates his personal shield when he deals ability damage. So yeah, he's going to be pushing it free time. His main weapon is like a hand cannon. It's kind of like a shotgun. Like, he actually can deal some good damage, like at close range, or if you get a headshot with someone. A couple of his abilities It's like a rocket jump, sort of like like Captain's Falcon, Falcon Punch in Super Smash Bros. So launches forward, he hits an enemy, he pushes the enemy back. If the enemy hits on the wall, it deals some extra damage. So cool. The next one of abilities is like a seismic slam. So he just sort of like smashes the ground, and if anyone in sight, like they'll actually pull them closer to Doomfist. And one of his other abilities is like a rising uppercut. Pretty self-explanatory, He just sends the enemy up in the air, and yeah, you're able to set them up for like a seismic slam, and then after that seismic slam, you can do like a rocket punch, bang, like a 3-hit combo. So yeah, he is a very, very, very aggressive melee character. And also his ultimate, is like a meteor strike. Now, this totally reminds me of like this your Predator missile, like this kill streak thing you get back at Modern Warfare 2, where Doomfist is pretty much leaps up in the air, and it's got like a bit of a countdown to point where he's going to strike down to the ground. He launches down, deals like massive amount of damage for anyone who's in the center of that impact, and while the guys outside is going to get launched back, we're going to get some damage as well. So yeah, he's pretty full on, like pretty like Kool-Aid in some ways. Bang, smashes everything. Yeah. Haven't actually tried out this character yet, because you can actually play it as of right now on the PTR. But for some first impressions from some of the players on Reddit, yeah, it does have some flaws here and there. I think that he's going to be a little bit OP at first, but I'm pretty sure Blizzard will be able to, tune a couple of things, balance out some few things here and there. So we should be fine when it actually comes out on the main official patch. Yeah, keep up to date for that one, because yeah, he's going to be a nice addition to the Overwatch roster. And that's it for the news for RF Download. Now usually I would go for my usual outro here and there, but there's something I want to show you. There's some really cool stuff that actually got my attention. Now, if you're a visitor to the OCAU forums or Overclockers Australia forums, then you probably have seen this article. If not, you should check this out. I'll put a link down below. But this guy actually had like a 4-year-old blacktop. It was like one of these Clevos, like your desktop, flagship, desktop replacements. And let's go with the specs right here. i7, 3740 QM. So a proper quad core with hybrid threading, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, and 2 MXM slots for GPUs. MXM is like your miniaturized version of your PCI Express, mainly designed for your laptops and and lately like your small form factor towers. But there's that. So originally this particular laptop had a 7970M. It's like an AMD chip, supposed to be alright for what it was. So you got rid of that, and actually managed to retrofit two 1070s in SLI. Yeah, that's pretty intense. And the little project you done to be able to get those two cards in, it was intense. So the heat sinks had to be hacked in, so he can able to fit the SLI connector. You had to like play around with the drivers and like had to swap the GPUs back and forth here and there, even to the point where you had to disable the driver signature enforcement stuff just to be able to get it working properly, the drivers. But it worked, and it runs hot. I mean, the heat sinks in the laptop, they were designed to run like 75 watts. But so cooling those those 1070s is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, they're rated to be about 120 watts TDP, so it's going to be pretty hot. Now, initially there was like a fair amount of throttling, because these GPUs are being powered by like a 230 watt power brick, so they're not getting enough juice to be able to run them at full blast. But by just changing the power brick to like a 330 watt model, yeah, he was able to push both the graphics cards and the CPU. I believe that on a couple of tests on 3D Mark, on Firestrike, I think that's on standard, he got 17,621 points, which is actually pretty good. I mean, considering that on the desktop versions, with a desktop CPU, you can be able to do about over 20,000. And yeah, like these 1070 sits around a comfortably 76 degrees, which is not bad for a notebook. A little bit hot on the desktop, but hey, should be right. So yeah, have a look on that little build and have a peek through the Overclockers Australia forum because they got some really good stuff there. And yeah, so that's it for RF Download. Now, if you do have any questions about this web series, feel free to comment down below. We do have a Discord channel. You can go down to discord.gg/RFLAN. And if you happen to miss this event, RFLAN 58, that's okay. We got another one. I believe it's going to be set on October, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm going to slap myself in the face next weekend. But until then, this is Harry, your host, and you'll be watching RF Download, and I'll see you guys next time.